Hey Brewians, I'm going to start just by addressing a couple issues. Obviously, if you may or may not have seen, I already uploaded this video, but the intro segment that I'm doing right now to explain the video recording issues had an issue itself and was recorded in a really weird format, and my editor wouldn't output it in a proper file format. It caused a boxing around everything, and the aspect ratio is off. So I'm re-recording that, going to put it together and re-upload it, and then as well as the framing of the Brew video was off. I didn't notice, but my camcorder on its stand was rotated a little bit, and you couldn't tell in the tiny little frame, but it became pretty obvious once I had everything done and all the files pulled and was getting ready to upload them. So I was originally just going to toss the video, but I wanted you guys to give it a look, be able to give it a look. So I decided imperfections, whatever. I just want to, get these videos out there for you guys so you can kind of see what we're up to. So I'm going to do that. Apologies for that. For optimum viewing, maybe rotate your screen a little bit, or just turn your head, but I'm not responsible if your neck gets cramps or anything like that. Anyway, into the video.
Hey Brewians, welcome to another Brew Day episode, and we are here to receive a gift from Salamene herself, Lunar Blessing. Lunar Blessing is going to be one of the more straightforward recipes that we have. It is, of course, inspired by Luna, and I was wanting to go in a little bit of a different direction with this one. So for Luna, I actually took her voice design as the inspiration for this beer. Luna, you could say, it's not exactly on her voice design necessarily, but her voice acting. She's got not quite an Irish accent, not quite a Scottish accent. It's blended somewhere in between and not exactly perfect. And that's exactly where I wanted to go with this beer. One of the first beers that I ever drank that was outside of the standard American lager, Bud Light and those stuff that you would drink at a party when you're really young, was from a brewery here in Arizona, Four Peaks, called Kilt Lifter. That is a Scottish style ale. And I enjoyed that beer very much so, and that got my interest in beer really spreading and trying different types, and that's really what led to me wanting to make beer and where I am here today. So this is one of my absolute favorite DotaBrews that we've made. Now in previous recipes, this was just a Scottish ale, and I didn't want to make just another stout, an Irish stout, or even like an Irish red or anything like that. I was trying to think of where really I could fusion the two, and it started with just the Scottish ale for those previous reasons, and that's when I decided that really nice dry mouthfeel of a Guinness is something that I think could go really well with a Scottish ale. A real light Scottish ale, not a heavy or anything like that. And after playing around with it a little bit, became one of my absolute favorite beers that we've made. So I'm really excited to get this going, and I cannot wait to drink it. Let's talk about our grain bill for a little bit. We're pretty standard on a Scottish ale. We've got pale malts, we've got peated malts, we've got a little bit of roasted barley, and a little bit of caramel malts. That's pretty much going to do it. That's our standard Scottish ale. And then we'll be using Irish ale yeast for the fermentation. That's going to give us that really, really just dry taste. So ultimately, I'm not going to have too much to talk about this video. We're going to do kind of the standard stuff, getting this up to temperature. We're going to throw our grains in for about 60 minutes. Then we can start the boil, or we can rinse our grains, start the boil, cool it down, and add our yeast. That's it. We're pretty much done. Oh, one more thing to add. During our boil, we'll be using hops. Once again, no real hop area to play with on this one. So we went with just another East Kent Golding. It's a pretty common hop, a pretty standard variety in low bitterness beers, and so we're going to have that again, about a ½ ounce at the start of the boil, and then add the other ½ ounce later to get a better complexity in the hops. We've got our water in. We're going to get it up to temperature about 148 degrees for this mash. That'll give us a nice light crisp body, because we're going to effectively convert a lot of this to simple sugars that will get converted out, and it'll be just nice, crisp, and clean. All right, well, we got our water up to temperature, and we have a slight problem. For some reason, my recirculation valve O-ring has gotten completely knackered. So we've got a small drip. I grabbed some plumber's tape. Hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue, but we are going to add our grains and wish for the best. All right, we got everything hooked up. We're going to go ahead and let this sit for about 60 minutes. Then we can start our sparge and boil. All right, it's been 60 minutes, so we're ready to take the grains out. We're going to give them a quick wash with our sparge water, and then we'll get ready to boil. That is all done. We have all of our pre-beer juice here in the boiler now, and we are going to bring it up to a boil. After that, we'll add our ½ ounce of Kent Golding's hops. After another 30 minutes of that boil, we will add our next ½ ounce of hops, boil for another 30 minutes, and then our boil is complete. Once the boil is done, it's going to be pretty standard steps from there. We'll get it all nice and cooled down, transferred into our glass carboy, but after that, something that we haven't been doing as much, or at least not in this type of way, is aerating our wort. We've had, if you follow us on Twitter, you see that our Space Cow Milk Stout and our Blood Right had stuck fermentations. Actually, I think it was just the Blood Right. Space Cow looked like it was stuck, but actually it had finished its pretty much entire fermentation in about 1 or 2 days. But Blood Right definitely got stuck. So there was a couple reasons for that. So we kind of tackled them all at once, but now in the future we'll do this with all of them. We've just got a little paddle here on a drill. We can stick that in our carboy, whip up some air into the wort, and then we'll be able to pitch our yeast nice and safe. As usual at that point, we'll be able to just throw an airlock on it, put it in primary for a week, secondary for as long as we can, throw it into a bottle, and then give it about a week for bottle conditioning to be ready to be drinkable. And then of course, the longer you leave it there, the better it will be. And that's gonna be it for this brew day with Lunar Blessing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, go ahead and give us a like, follow, subscribe, comment, check the bell, do all those things here on YouTube, youtube.com/DotaBrewsUS. We're on Twitter as well, at DotaBrews. If you have any questions or suggestions, go ahead and drop us a line at our email, dotabrews@gmail.com. Once again, I am Wivrex, and this has been Lunar Blessing. It fit, sort of.
Well, the Seeker's top, by the way, which was the oh god. That was the oh god.
Now in previous recipes, this was just a Scottish ale.